Well, let's get to tonight's guest. With us live in studio, we have none other than Michael Bekiarian, CEO of Mainz. As CEO of Mainz, Michael brings decades of retail leadership, customer experience expertise, and a limitless vision to a growing team of customer experience advocates. Before this, he also served as the Director of Operations for Gateway Group 1, where he transformed the customer interaction at major metropolitan airports. And with that intro, we give a warm welcome to Michael Bekiarian. Michael, how are you?
I am great, Yitzhak. Thank you for having me.
Yes, no, this is a real treat and a pleasure. Michael, CEO of Mainz, you lead a unique group that offers recruitment as a service. Could you explain, what does that mean, recruitment as a service?
So recruitment as a service. So, our business started out kind of in the realm of traditional recruiting since about 2012. And we recognized that it was kind of a deeply inefficient model. You'll a lot of post out to the job boards, get thousands of resumes, pick the best off of the skill set that you see off the resume, and then you would throw them over the transom to your client and hope a few of them stick. And we worked in that regard for a few years, and going back about 3 months ago, it's a relatively new service that we've launched. We believe this to be a purely disruptive service to the recruiting world.
Oh, we love having those on our airwaves here.
Well, the people love us, and yes. our maybe some recruiters may learn from us. But what we have done is we have taken the traditional sense of recruiting, and we have kind of turned it. We stood aside and turned it on its head. We work with clients and companies at all levels within the organization. So if you think about recruitment, you're typically looking at recruiters at the top 20% of the employee base in the organization. And the folks that really make a difference in the company, the folks that touch the customer over and over again, those folks, they're kind of hired into the organization through a myriad of different means.
Sure.
And what we've done is we've stood up a suite of technology and services that serves every level within the organization.
If I may, I'm going to turn now to the person who's looking to land their dream job, and I have a couple of questions on that. LinkedIn and all the various websites. What tips do you have for someone who's looking for a job from their resume? Maybe some tips on resume and where they should be looking. Now, again, we're going now to the individual that's looking, and then of course we'll come back to the company side.
Sure. At our business, we look at the candidate as equal weight to our client. We feel we serve both. The candidate, they may not be a good fit for the job that we've presented them for.
Right, but you know someone else.
Exactly, there could be somebody else who comes along. For sure.
Great point.
So we look at a candidate from in the same process. We look at it. I like to use a lot of analogies, right? So I look at like trying to find a job. It's kind of like dating. Okay, go back a long time ago and start thinking about it, right? Your significant other, your spouse, who it may be. Think about what it was like when you first met them.
Right.
You put on your best behavior, and over time that best behavior may deteriorate a little. I'm not saying that it does in my household.
My wife's listening too.
But you're always on your best behavior, so I've heard. And
thank you.
But over time it happens. In fact, it was funny. Chris Rock, I remember hearing a bit he did many years ago. He said about his wife. He said after 6 months, he said, "I don't think I was dating you. I was dating your representative." So we have to realize that in the process of job search, really, what can you do as a candidate looking for a job? First, be really clear about what you want to do with your life, just from a life perspective. What do you want to do? What would you do for free, and to go and do it every day if money wasn't an option?
Fascinating point.
So we look at that, right? We do a little introspection and say, this is what I really want to do.
Right. Are you going to love it? Are you passionate about it?
Right. When the alarm goes off, do you wake up before your alarm, or do you hit the snooze button 3 or 4 times?
Great point.
Right? So we look for those, and we try to help our candidates, and we coach them on, first of all, I know you're looking for a job as a sales manager, but are you a sales manager? We have assessment tools that we give every one of our candidates based on the job that they're applying for. It's specific to the job, and it will give us the underlying motivational levels of encouragement, their levels of motivation, their cognitive abilities directly in line with that job. So we can really look at that and say to them, you know what, it looks like you really are wired for the job that you think that is going to make you happy for the rest of your life. So the first step in looking for a job, don't jump on the computer and really quickly start doing a search or a job search and going on, Indeed or LinkedIn or whatever any of the big job boards are, Career Builder, Monster. Don't just start looking for what's out there, and don't just look at salary, because salary is always negotiable. Based on what you bring to the table, salary is a question mark. It doesn't have to be what's written on the page. So once you kind of determine where you want to go in your life and what you want to do, then you start to build your persona. Make sure your LinkedIn is up to date. Make sure you have more than 500 contacts in LinkedIn, because it will say 500 plus. If it says 120 and you're applying for the sales manager job, people are going to look at that and go, nope, that's kind of weak. So make sure that your public persona is in line. If you have pictures of yourself doing unconventional things on your Facebook page, take them down. Make sure that wherever you look, when we do a complete search, we look at Facebook, we look at everything of the person out there that can potentially enhance or damage our client's reputation. It's very important to us to uphold our client's reputation through the folks that we refer in.
And today that's such an issue with everything being available in a touch of a click.
Yeah, in real time. We know everything what happens with it. We have a negative event happen, and we know what happens within 3 hours. We know everything about that person, including the last place they ate somehow. Yeah. So you want to make sure that your persona out there, what you're presenting to the world is spot on and is in line with the job you're going after. Be sure to follow organizations and people that are influencers on your LinkedIn page. Okay. To make sure that you're following those folks that are going to give you tips and connections into the world that you're looking to ultimately park your career in. Okay. So once that's done and everything's filled out, then you got to go, well, do I do a resume or do I do a CV? Well, the world's moving a little more towards CV than it is to resume. If you go onto Word and use a resume template, please don't be creative. Find a way outside of 2 lines across the top. Do things that are going to get you noticed. A recruiter will look at your resume for about 15 seconds until they see something that catches their eye. Under our process with Mainz, we actually utilize an electronic methodology for sorting through those resumes based on specific keywords and job attributes in order to make sure that the person has those. So you want to use words that are very distinct to not only from the task completed, but also the emotion behind the task. Make sure that you're putting things out there that if you're working within a luxury brand, that you make sure you put luxury in there as a description, not just the name.
If they have a particular passion for the industry that they're looking to get into or that they're in presently, should that come through on the resume?
Oh, without a doubt. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for passion, because we're going to get to, a point once you determine that the person is a skill match. They have the experience and the skill and the prerequisite educational requirement and whatever the hard attributes of the job are. The other 80% is just that. It's passion. It's about holding a passion for the job and about the contribution that you bring to your new or future employer.
Question, your software, your algorithm, et cetera, could pick up on these things? This is just fascinating.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I'll give an example. I'm going to expose myself here. We were hiring in for a receptionist for a very large Wall Street trading firm. And I said, I'm just out of curiosity, I'm going to take the receptionist test.
Okay.
See if I'm really
how you would rate
a receptionist. I can do that. And I took it, and our manager of technology, Jacqueline, came in and handed to me, and she looked at me and smiled. And she goes, "You failed." I said, "What?" I checked my ego for a moment, and sure enough, it was like it figured me out that was not who I was. I could not sit behind a desk for 8 hours a day, and sit there and work the phones and greet folks as they came in.
From your experience, how would you recommend a business owner create a meaningful experience for both the employees and a company's clients?
It's a great question. It's an elusive question because a lot of companies have different ideas of what they think is going to create a good employee. And number one, without a doubt, is communication. the lines of communication within the organization, the old, my door is always open, but for some reason it's always closed. I used to work for a guy like that. My door is always open, but every time I walk by, his door was closed. It's like, okay, guess I have to knock. I'm not sure, but the door is always open. Communication in all levels of the organization. And I work for some amazing bosses who every morning when they came in, they grabbed their coffee and they walked throughout the whole entire building, seeing and greeting and talking to folks and about their weekend and how their kids are, and knew everyone by name. It's that level of engagement, that level, that connectivity, the connectedness within an organization. The employee is more likely to forgive if they feel they're connected and contributing. And the contribution has to be measured and has to be spoken to from within the entire company, not just from the senior leadership perspective. People want to feel like the old saying, people support the world they create. Sure. I've believed that for many years, and I've always tried to manage in that realm because it really is. You really want to feel like you're making the biggest contribution to the organization and being recognized for it. People work a lot of hours. They work at night. They work till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Nobody really knows that. They only know you by when you mess up as an organization. So you need an organization that has a level of forgiveness within the organization, a plan for corrective action.
Okay.
That's beyond that of just such significant punitive,
right.
And to be an organization that is an organization that you would ultimately want to work for.
Now, as we approach the close in the remaining couple of minutes that we have, Michael, how would you create a brand loyalist, out of a client, a customer, but really turn them into a brand loyalist that will never leave your company? A
rah-rah, somebody comes in like I have the Apple brand loyalist. People will stand in line to get a phone.
That's right. That's a great example.
Right? I mean, that's just
example.
And it's tough to get there. Everybody uses that example.
Right.
So first things first within the organization, hire the right people, put them in the right jobs, understand where they are within your organization at every level, your employees, number one. Okay, that's the first step. Mm-hmm. The second step is to have a feedback mechanism as to what delights your customers. What is it about your brand? Is it your product or is it your experience? Pay close attention to the experience because the product is a commodity that a lot of people can get unless you have some proprietary something. But it is the experience where you begin to differentiate, and the experience can only be delivered through your employees of your organization. So if you want to create a brand loyalist, start with your employees, hire the right people, ultimately listen to your customer, speak to them directly through the experience. And if you have to change your experience outside of your process, a lot of companies are reluctant to change it because I built that process. It took me a long time and it's good. Right. It's a good process. Yeah, but we're losing 20% of our customers every week. What's going on? The process is broken. Listen to the customer as to how they respond to your process, and you will create a brand loyalist out of your customers. Last step, if you want them to be loyal, ask them to be loyal. Provide a mechanism for them for feedback and a mechanism for them to bring their friends and family and be rewarded for such an action.
Any final thoughts for the listeners of Mind Your Business?
Thanks a lot for having us on. We are honored to be part of your show and the history of this show. You've got a wonderful mechanism for helping small businesses get beyond that of their own ideas and actually monetize those ideas and put them into action. Biggest thing for us from our perspective is like you say, just do it. You're having a good idea, go out there, talk to folks, put a little barometer check. Don't delay. Just get it done. Go out there, hire the experts, bring in experts, bounce your ideas off of folks, and just go out and do it. Hire the right people, and the business will follow.
77 WABC Radio presents Mind Your Business, hosted by founder and president of Bottom Line Marketing Group, Yitzhak Saflis. Mind Your Business focuses on business and marketing strategies for success.
Hi. I'm your host, Yitzhak Saflis of the Mind Your Business program on 77 WABC. I hope you enjoyed the show. To find out more, check out the buttons on your right.